How's it going, everyone? I have been doing a lot of research with regards to monitors right now, and I've actually come up with a solid conclusion. If you look at GPUs right now, we have the RTX 3000 series, the RTX 2000 series, and the RTX 1000 series, right? And then we have the AMD GPUs as well. They're not as popular. If you were to look at everything that's been going on since the GTX 1000 series up to the RTX 3000 series, right? You will see that there is a trend and a constant struggle to get to a 1440p 144 hertz mark, that sweet spot. 4K is still at around 80 FPS with the new RTX 3080, like an average FPS in a lot of games. The 1440p mark right now is at around 100 FPS with the RTX 3080 on average in a lot of games. The 1080p mark has been crossed. 1080p is now officially getting to a point where it is becoming obsolete, right? The 1440p isn't like that. There was a video that Linus Tech Tips did in which they experimented with 1440p 144Hz monitor, a 1080p 240Hz monitor, and a 4K 144Hz monitor, I believe. And in that video, they basically found that, like, for example, like the staff that was part of the experiment, they were easily able to tell the difference between 1080p and 1440p and 4K, but they couldn't really precisely tell the difference between 4K and 1440p. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that 1440p is still a very respectable and a very good resolution for gaming. 4K is obviously a high resolution, a better resolution, at least theoretically. But when it comes to frame rates, 1440p will always have better frame rates than 4K. That's a no-brainer. Now, if you look at the new RTX 3000 cards, that is designed for 4K gaming. Now, my question to you is, if you have 4K at 60 plus FPS, around 70 to 80 FPS on average, versus 1440p at around 90 to 100 frames per second, which one would you pick? Now, there was another experiment done in which David Does Tech Stuff was the channel name. He did a video where basically he and his wife did an experiment in which they set the monitor refresh rate to 60 hertz and 144 hertz, and they were able to clearly tell the difference. At least David was able to tell the difference. He spotted the difference in smoothness right away. Like, there was a clear difference. So my question to you is, 70 to 80 hertz isn't too far from, I mean, it is 20 frames per second difference, but it's not too as far from 60 hertz as, say, 100 or, 90 hertz is. So would you pick a resolution? Now, I'm taking these two videos as the typical standard rather than go through 10 videos, because honestly speaking, there aren't too many videos on YouTube comparing the difference in smoothness and resolution. I mean, there are videos 1080p versus 1440p versus 4K versus 8K, but honestly, you're all looking at these videos on a 1080p 60 hertz screen. So it's not easy for everyone to basically, tell, okay, the difference is clear. You can't really do that. I mean, just looking at the difference between 1440p 144 hertz versus 4K 60 plus FPS. Okay, let's just give it like a round number of 80 FPS. We are still not at a point where the GPUs can completely give you 1440p 144 hertz. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up, why that's significant, is that I'm telling you, as a consumer, you should not be focusing on 4K, even now. Right now is still not the time when GPUs have caught up with 4K resolution to give you 144 hertz. Let alone the prices of 4K monitors are crazy. I mean, 4K 144 hertz monitors are over the top. They're just unaffordable. 1440p 144 hertz isn't cheap as well, right? But it's still relatively cheaper. What you want to be focusing on is 1440p at 144 hertz. GPUs still are not able to get to that point. However, we do see some CPU limitations because of the RTX 3080, and the solution to that is overclock the CPU rather than spend that same amount of money on a 4K monitor or 4K 144 hertz monitor, which isn't exactly being utilized completely because there just aren't any GPUs that can hit that 4K 144 hertz. And the resolution is obviously, there is a difference, but it's not as compared to 1080p. So yeah, guys, that's the conclusion of this video. You're better off spending that same amount of money on a good CPU that you can overclock and remove any little bottlenecks that may come about because of the RTX 3080 GPUs. So yeah, guys, that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, guys, like, dislike, and I'll see you guys in the next one.